go to our Python website, like Python, just type it, and the first website, whatever is coming, which is www.python.org. Uh, Go into that website and go to download tab. Here we will find Python versions. Okay, we have 3.8 for 3.7 and all Python versions. Now we want is 3.8. This is the latest version. To download it, we will see we are having a button which is called download Python 3.8.5. This is the latest one. Earlier it was 3.8.1, but now we
Sure.
have Python
Sure.
3.8.5. Okay, if you want to download whatever OS you are having, like if you have Windows or Linux, Unix, Mac OS X, or any other version of your OS, then you can go switch to this. Okay, now I having
Sure.
Windows, so I will go to this Windows tab and download my Python 3.8.5. Okay, I already have this downloaded, so I will not download. You guys please go to this Python website and go to this download tab and download your Python latest version from here. Okay.
So the highest version for Mac is 3.7.9.
Doesn't matter.
Oh,
3.7 or 3.8.5, it have some little bit of differences, but the thing
okay.
is same over there. Okay, so whatever OS you are having, switch to that and just download your version. Okay, you also have latest Python 3 released, Python 3.8.5 for Mac OS. Okay, so you can download it from here. You have Windows and
Right.
you have Mac OS. You can download it from here, the latest file of your Python version. Okay. Okay, if you have downloaded, then comment in our chat menu yes. So you'll get to know who have downloaded and who are having problem. Kid, Garang, and Kaustav. Okay, all of you have downloaded. Now, now we will move to our next process. Okay, so we have downloaded the interpreter, which is Python whatever version we are using the updated version, which is 3.8.5. We have downloaded the interpreter, but it is not just okay with it, because if we download the interpreter we will be only limited to the command prompt, or what you say, your PowerShell over here. Okay, so we can code in the PowerShell, but we for coding for an we need an IDE. Okay, for that we need PyCharm. Okay, you can use a lot of your IDEs. There are a lot of IDEs in the market, but for now we will continue our course in PyCharm. Okay, because everybody just start from PyCharm, and then if you get professional in your Python journey, then you can switch to another editor, like you have VS Code and a lot of stuff are there.
So what will PyCharm do?
PyCharm is your editor. Okay, PyCharm is an integrated development environment. And what do you mean by integrated development environment? Do you have used any other programming language before?
No.
No. Oh, that's why you are having that problem. So, your ID is the you say editor. Okay. Generally, we call it a editor where we write our codes. Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
Yes.
and if you are using a PyCharm or any other editor which is very popular, you have a community support, and it has a lot of advantages. We will talk about it when we will install PyCharm. Okay, so go to this PyCharm website, which is www.jetbrains.com. Click on it. Okay, we have a download button. Click here, download. Now here also we have Windows, Mac, Linux.
Yes.
One, if you are having a Mac OS, then you can switch to Mac, and there are two type of download options. Okay, you have professional and you have community. So what you can do is you click on that community one, because you are new to Python. Okay, this one is for professional, and it charges a few amount of money. You have to pay for it, and a month is free for you for a trial version. But in community you have no limitation. You can use it for lifelong. If it is an open source means anybody can contribute or anybody can use it, so you can use this for pure Python develop. Go for Python community version, download this community version. Okay,
Yes, sir.
after you have
Okay.
installed both the softwares, okay, wait for a minute, everybody, let everybody install both the softwares, and then we will moving towards our how to install Python and how to integrate it to our PyCharm. Okay, so everybody has installed it.
It's taking some time to download.
Okay, no problem, we are here. Is installing the softwares. Before installing PyCharm, okay, we need to install the interpreter. Okay, yesterday we have learned about what is interpreter, and you get to know more about it after installing it. Now we will just right click it, run as administrator, yes. Okay, so what we gonna do is we do not go for install now, go for customize installation with add python 3.8 to path. Okay, we click on it and go for customize installation. Everybody please do it step by step. Whenever I am telling any process, and whenever I am telling about any option, please do with me, so that you know do not you don't miss any your system installation, your process. So everybody is doing with me.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, now we go for customize installation. Okay, do not go for install now. We click on customize installation. Please select all the options. Okay, all the options you please select it and click on your next button. Okay, now here what we're gonna do is we click on browse. Okay, we have to change the customize for installation location, so we click on browse. Now we click on the PC, and we go for our drive where we have stored our OS operating system. Generally it is stored in local disk C. Now here we have to make a folder. Okay, click on it and make a folder called your Python, whatever version you have installed. Okay, so I have installed Python 38. Okay, press enter, select it. Okay, now we have selected our C drive, and in it we have made a Python 38 folder, and now we have selected it. Before that, please select all the options and leave the last two options: download debugging symbols, download debug binaries. Please leave it and select all the options which are above these two options. Okay, now we simply click on install. Now we will close this your dialog box, and
Sir,
yes,
sir, do you think I should use Windows for Python? So I'm right now on Mac.
Dunia, can I
yes,
intervene?
yes, yes, sir.
Veer, like Mac, like Windows, like Android, all are having different operating system. So there will be different versions for that. So if you're using Map, you have to download which is corresponding to the map itself.
Yes.
Okay, map operating. Okay. Yes.
Uh, don't worry, if you are having any problem after the class, I'll connect to you with AnyDesk or any other software. I will
Okay.
connect to you, and if you are having any problem, I will customize it for you. Okay. This is a flexibility of online classes, so I can get to know about your problem after the class itself. Okay. Integrate our ID to the version of our new latest version of our Python. Okay, before that we will check if our Python is installed or not. We will go to simply go to our command prompt, or if you are having Windows 10 or any other latest version of your OS which is in Mac, then if you right click on your Windows button, and you will see Windows PowerShell, or otherwise you can go for command prompt, or in Mac you go for terminal. So here I click for Windows PowerShell admin, click on yes, and now if I write here Python, it must show my Python version, which is 3.8.5. I have installed my Python in my PC or laptop or your Mac, whatever you have. Okay, so everybody can see this. in your computer. Try this in your command prompt, try this in your terminal or any other.
all of you can unmute yourself. All of you can unmute yourself and you can respond because this is a practical session going on. So it will be easy for us to understand.
Okay, sir.
Say yes if you have checked your version in your command prompt or terminal, whatever you have.
Sir, I had a doubt that a compiler is better and interpreter is better for Python.
Yeah, I would like to ask you the question. I would like to tell you the question. See, the compiler is always good. Interpreter has its own advantage, right? So compiler, what it does, when you are writing a program, you first write the whole program. Let's say 10 lines of program you have written, right? After that, when you go for compilation, then only the entire programs once at a time gets compiled and you get the error. Are you clear? Now, while writing
Yes, sir.
programs, you do not have any clue that in which particular line you did a mistake, whether it is semantic error, whether it is syntactic error, right? So after completion of the program, once you go for compilation, then the entire program gets converted to machine level language, which your computer or laptop can understand, and then it try to find out the semantic and syntactic structure of the program and then give you the error. So this entire process takes some time. You can say around 3 to 4 seconds, maybe 5 seconds, and depending upon the length of the program, sometimes it takes more time. But the interpreter which Python has implemented, this interpreter, once you write a line of the program and you go for new line, immediately it checks for the error, whether you have written well or not, whether you have written syntactically well program or semantically well program, right? If you did a mistake, it will show you error at the very second line, beginning of the second line, right? So you are quite sure that once you complete writing the program, you get the correct program. You do not have to wait for the compilation process, then getting errors and all that. This is the beauty of interpreter, right?
To add on to what Siddharth sir has said, compiler and interpreter comes under the category called as translators. Okay, so whatever programming language we are using, like Python, they are called high level language and all, and computer doesn't understand that language because computer understand only machine language which is in the form of 1 or 0. Okay, so somebody has to translate this into the machine level language, that is either in 0 and 1, so that the computer can understand. Okay, so there are two types of translator. One is called a compiler, another is called an interpreter. Compiler will take as a whole the whole instruction together. It will take and compile and then find the any kind of error and all. And interpreter will take one line at a time and will find out any semantic or synthetic error. Say for example, a person is speaking in okay, and we don't understand. So there will be one translator will translate German language into English language. Okay, so how the translate can done? He speaks the speech and then he will start converting into it. That is one way. Another, say first good morning, then the interpreter, the translator will say good morning in English. He will say in Germany, and then he will say good morning in English, and it will continue. So that becomes an interpreter. Okay, and when if he said good morning, how are you? I am from this, he completes, and then it in Germany he said German language, and then the translator, you the entire thing, then it becomes a compiler. I hope you have understood now. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now we have understood that we have installed Python and we have confirmed it through window PowerShell or terminal or command prompt. Okay, now we just
Yeah.
simply get out of our Windows Python by writing exit. There's a command to move out from our Python interpreter. Select enter, and now we are back in Windows System 32. Okay, now what we're gonna do is we write pip, okay, pip, and press enter. If you are getting this display, then everything is okay. Okay, and if you are not getting this display, then something is wrong in your installation. We have to look after it after we have finished this class. I will connect to you and I will do it manually. Okay.
So I'll download Python on my computer. Right
Okay.
now I'm on Mac. I'll do it on computer.
Okay. Okay, then you can try on your computer after that. Now what we do is, what we're gonna do is, we have to install our Python PyCharm. We have already installed Python, this one. Now we'll go for PyCharm. Okay, we'll run it. So now we will install PyCharm. It's very simple for you. It's just very simple. You just click on next, 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 and install it. There is no separate any other option. You have to click on it. So because I have already installed PyCharm in my PC, so I have to uninstall and I have to select different directory. Okay, so click on next. Okay, leave it as it is. Do not select any option. Click on next and install.
So I've installed.
Okay, after installing it, click on run PyCharm and click finish. Okay, pop up like this menu. You can select your theme, whatever theme you like. Like if you like the light of color theme, then you can click on the light. Or if you like a dark theme, which is Darkula, then you can click on Darkula. Just click on skip remaining and set defaults. Okay.
So I did next and next.
Next, you have your choose a new project or open a file. You have, if you have already made a Python project. I click on a new project. So I want to so show you step by step. So I have choose my new project and I write a name for my project.
Nunia, can I continue for 1 minute?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, you guys just let me make it clear that for small program, command prompt is always good, terminal is always good, but we are expecting to write some lengthy programs. So that is why we are introducing you this particular UI. Okay, so this editor will help you to create projects, to to change a project, update it, or write lengthy program easily.
Yes, sir.
Am I right?
Yes, sir.
So this is your answer for your whoever was asking what is IDE. Okay, so this is the advantage of your IDE, what sir has to, explained you. So here we what we do is we write any name like first prog. I means first program. I am giving a name for my project file, and then I will select existing interpreter. Okay, not the new one. If I click on virtual environment, then it will select the your interpreter which is already installed in your PyCharm, but I don't want that. So I
Yes.
have to go for existing interpreter because I have installed Python 3.8.5, so that the ID will select it, and here what I will do is integrate my you say your interpreter. So wherever I have installed Python, I have told you to install it in C drive, create a new folder which is called Python 38. Remember? After selecting Python 38, go to Python exe. Have you got python.exe?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. After you have selected python.exe, click OK. Now you have your directory which is in C drive. You have Python 38. In it you have python.exe. Okay. Now I select OK. Now see, I have an interpreter called Python 3.8, which is the latest one for my PyCharm, and I create a new one which is empty.
So
Can you
all of you have done this? All of you have done up to this?
Yes, sir.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir.
Deka?
So you have this help menu, but we don't need this in online classes. So close it. from here, and you will see a blank window. So I will be starting from a new file. In my first prog, which is my folder, in where it is located in users, my name or whatever name you have given in your user, PyCharm projects, first prog. Whatever programming projects you are going to make, it will be stored over here. Okay, so you can directly go to this folder and you can open this in your editor. Okay, now in first prog, this is a folder. Okay, now I want to make a Python file. Right click in it and select new, and then go to Python file. Okay, select Python file, name it anything, but in Python we name main, main, for the main file.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Nunia, I would like to interrupt you.
Yes, sir.
See, all of you, just always remember that you should, if you really want to become a great programmer in future, always remember that naming convention plays a very crucial role in programming. So whatever you write, whatever program you write, the naming should be done appropriately, because the name itself tells so many things about that program for future references.
Yes.
So if you are writing a program for Hello World, you give it a name as Hello World. Let us suppose if I am writing a program which will handle a database for day-to-day transaction, then I write like that, day transaction. So once you look at the program, you will be able to understand that yes, this program was written for this. So naming convention you should strictly adhere, so that in future when you will be dealing with hundreds, thousands of programs under a package, you won't get confused. Okay, it will give you a clear idea about the intention of the program, why you have written that program, right? So all of you, just whenever you are writing program, try to give a logical name to that program. That's very important.
After naming your file, which is Python file, so what we're gonna do is next we have to select our extension. Okay, what is extension? Whatever file you are making, you see you have a extension name after your file name. So like you say you are having an image, then you have img.jpg or .png. Okay, so here we want to do is we have to give a extension which is Python file. So for Python we have .py. Okay, now click on Python file, and it will create our window for our main.py file. Now here
And you can see that main.py. Just look at the name of the file. It is already created, main.py. Just move your cursor, Nunia.
yes, sir.
Move your cursor to the name of the file. Here, after this. Third line, first project. Yes. Main.py. Here, right hand side. Here, right hand side. Come to right. Yes. So main.py is displayed, and this is your window where you will be writing your program. Got it?
Yes,
Dunia?
sir. Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now we have to write our program over here. This is our IDE, and this is where we use IDE for. We write code over here, we get so many help option. We have a help option over here, or we have a lot of tools over here. We have debugging tools already installed, so we don't have to worry about debugging tool or your SDK or anything else. So you can use a lot of options from your IDE. And let's move on to our coding section, where we will write
Just a moment, Nunia.
yes,
I would
sir.
like to tell you that IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment. Okay. So when you are handling a large projects and you have maybe more than 20-30 programs, so this integrated development environment works like a package where you can see all those programs you have written. Okay. it gives you just a moment. So you can compile them. I'm sorry. You can interpret them. You can make a package, and you can finally, combine all the programs and make a single prototype, which is essentially the software which you are interested for developing, right? So this integrated development environment gives you all kind of freedom of managing multiple files at a single place and work with them. Nunia, please continue.
Okay, so before coding here, we can do some custom settings. Go to your setting menu, and here from here you can change your appearance. You can change directly from here. IntelliJ, apply. See, you have Windows
So where
10
did
Lite.
the settings menu come from?
There is a file. Okay, go to settings. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Go to settings. You have your appearance drop down button. Click on it. This will be like this, and when you click on it, it will expand, and it will be so you will see an option which is called appearance. Got it?
Mm,
Okay. From here, what you can do is you can modify your IDE to your preference. Okay, because many of them can't see whatever you write, so you can use custom font. You can set your custom fonts. You can set your custom size of your codes, whatever you write, or you can change your color from here. You apply it and see. Now we will write our first code, which is basically your print hello world. Okay, which you have
yeah.
already seen in your command prompt or PowerShell. I will show you here also, and in your terminal or your PowerShell or your command prompt. Okay, both. Print hello world.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
So will we do all the coding on PyCharm or the Python we downloaded?
No. We will be doing Python program only, but this is the integrated development environment. This will help us to write programs and manage multiple files. You need something to write programs, no? So
Yes.
like if we want to write something on, on computer, what we do? We use Microsoft Word or not?
Are you getting the point? So Notepad you think like a common point, okay, and the MS Word itself like your the PyCharm or the IDE. Okay. Yes.
so you have written print hello world, everybody.
Yes, sir.
Okay, then right click on it here. Can you see my cursor?
Yes.
And go to run main, whatever file we have named it. It will come over here, run name main. When you click on it, you will see your output over here. It's called hello world. Are you getting it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Can you see
Yes,
this?
sir.
Whatever it is showing, it is similar to our terminal. This is the thing what we see in our terminal, isn't it?
Terminal or command prompt? Terminal or command prompt? Command prompt for Windows, terminal for iOS.
Let me show you that also. If I go to Windows, PowerShell, or your command prompt, okay, click on it. Okay, here I write Python. I call my Python, and then it will show it will enter into the Python interpreter, and here I will write my code. Okay, let's say I write print hello world. Okay, and when I click OK, it will show hello world. Got it?
Yes.
So this thing and this thing are same.
Nunia,
Yes, sir.
in the print hello world, intentionally you make a mistake.
Yes, sir.
To
Okay,
show them error. To show them the error.
So the
okay,
error,
okay.
yeah.
So to show them the error.
Just
Okay,
remove the closing bracket.
okay.
This is the beauty of interpreter. Can you see the red mark over there? Can you see the red mark over there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
That is your error. So it is trying to tell you something. Okay, then press enter.
See, you have error over here listed. One error, 1 week warning.
You have not even completed your program, but it is showing you error. Got it? Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Clear.
sir.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So this is what.
Okay, carry on, Monia.
So this is what the difference between compiler and interpreter. In compiler, when we write the full program and then we run it, it will list all the errors after we have completed writing our program. But in interpreter, when we mistakenly write any error in our line in our line itself, it will show a error on that instance. Got it? We give a bracket again and see, we don't have any error. We have no red mark over here. When we click on run, then see, we are getting hello world. Got it? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Here in our Windows PowerShell, we have done the same print hello world and we got hello world. So let's exit from here. We will continue in our ID because see, here we are not comfortable to write a long program. Okay, but here we
Yes.
can manage a long program and we can save it in a file and we can refer it to anytime. So show you what is comment and how to write single line comment or multiple line comments. Okay, can you see what I have written? Hello.
Yes, sir.
So this is our comment. Can you see this is visually very visually of gray color?
Yes.
This means it is a comment in PyCharm.
Yes, yes.
How?
And Nunia,
Yes, sir.
you do one thing. You write print,
Yes, sir.
print hello world. You write print hello world. So now this is executable code. Go for output. You got the output now. Hello world. Now you put a hash button hash before print. Hash before print.
So nothing will
Okay.
come.
Nothing will come. Got it? And the color is also changed. Color got changed.
So
Right?
comments are only for the person reading the coding.
Reading the coding, which will help someone to understand your program.
So
And
people don't do anything with it.
also, if you do not want to, run particular lines of code, you can instead of deleting, you can just make them as comment.
Okay.
Maybe after some time, if you want, you can again activate the code by replacing the hash.
So
Understood?
the computer doesn't need the comments.
Yes.
Okay.
One more advantage of comment is when you're working with a team or you're with a group of people. Okay, then what you need is to comment about the line you have written or you have committed any changes in your program because because in industry we don't do a project on your own. Okay, we need a huge team to write some components for that program or some of the code for that program. So we divide the programs into people.
Yes.
Then what we do is we the first part we will be done by me. The second part will be done by Sitana sir. The third part will be done by Bhupesh sir. Okay, and then at the last we will integrate all the program or our code. Then it will become one program. Okay, so what we do is we write comment whatever code we have written, we can only understand. Okay, but if in order to uh, so the other person that what I have written, to tell him that what I am writing is, we use comment in English language or in any
Yes,
language you
sir.
prefer, so that the other person can understand your code. Got it?
Yes, sir. Got it.
Okay, so if this is a single line comment. Okay, we copy it, we paste it. Okay, just a minute. we paste it. Okay, this is a single line comment, but if we want to we have to write hash every time when we want to add a comment. But if we want uh, a big if there is a big line and we want to comment it out, okay, what we do is we use triple inverted commas. Okay, we use triple inverted commas. This, can you see
Yeah.
this? When you run it, see, nothing is printed. Okay,
So,
we use triple inverted comma for that.
okay.
Okay, we don't have to write a hash every time, every from in every line. We just implement in
Okay.
our first line and in the last line, so that everything comes in between will be
Yes.
commented out.
Understood, sir.
Now we remove this inverted commas and then we run it again. Okay, we haven't described this. Okay, we remove this without we are using that without print. When we run it, we'll see hello world, hello world, hello world, hello world, and hello world. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we have learned about comments, and next then we just print it. Okay, can you see this?
You got the output? You got the output? Now, let us add it. Right? Print x plus y.
Print x plus y.
When you delete it and we write x plus y in the same line. Okay, x plus y. Now we will run it. We'll see 11. Got it?
It's so simple, you know. It's very, very simple. Now let us suppose I want to divide x by y. So just change the operator. Change the operator. Got it? Now the beauty of Python is that we have not anywhere mentioned that the result will be in integer or the result will be in floating point,
Oh.
but it is taking automatically. So this is the beauty of Python, you know. So we have not mentioned, but we are getting output in floating point, right?
Everybody know what is this x and y?
Yes.
What is this?
So it's a
They're variables.
variable.
And why we use variables? Good definition of it.
Uh,
Okay.
To declare value.
Yes. Perfect. So variable is just like a container, okay, which contains some data or values which you have said. Okay, it's like something where you stored everything. So x is my variable, y is my variable. Now I am storing the value which is my 5 and which is 6. These are values. Okay, this is what I stored in x, so that I can do calculation with the help of this variable. Okay, I have put my value 5 into x, and I have put my value 6 into variable y, so that whenever I do x plus y means 5 plus 6. Got it?
yes.
And if you have done any other programming languages like C++, Java, or any other programming language, then there what we have to do is we have to define a data type like int, or what is
Yes,
the
sir.
float, or whatever. If you use for 6.5, 6.6, so we have to define a very your data type. This
Yes.
means that what type of data you are having.
Hello.
Hmm.
Yes.
Just before the end of your session, I will show you one C program, and you will understand. For the addition, what we are talking about, like in and all these things. Okay. Just I will take 5 minutes, then you can understand the difference. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so for float we use 6.6 point here. We use point when we use float. Okay, so we have to define a data type. Then we can define a variable in C, C++, Java, or any other language. But in Python, we have a very easy access to defining variables. Like we don't have to define any data type. Python itself will understand what data type you have used. Python is very smart. Okay, he will get to know that, oh, you don't have a point, that means you are using integer. Oh, you have a point, that means you are using float. It will understand automatically. Okay, or if you are using like z equals to, you say anything like your name, or I write John. Okay, John. So what I am getting, the Python will understand we are storing a string. Okay, we are storing an some type of alphabet or characters in Z. So in Python we don't have to define data types, but in C, C++, Java we have to define data types before defining a variable. Okay, so this is so easy. And how to print it? We use print, and whatever variable we want to show it with whatever operation you want to do. So I want to add, so I will use plus as an operation. I want to deduct something, I will use minus. For now we have learned how to use variables and how to use comments in our Python editor. We use division, we get 0.83 as our answer. And if you use multiplication, okay, we use asterisk for multiplication. Okay, when we run it, we'll get 30.
Yes.
5 into 6, what is 30? Okay,
Yes.
in our programming language we don't use cross. Okay, we use asterisk for that. Have you found asterisk in your keyboard?
Yes,
Hello?
sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
because somebody was having problem with multiplication, right? So this is the basic operators we use in operations. We have our plus for arithmetic operations, we have plus, minus, and we have asterisk for multiplication. We have divide sign for division. We have modular sign for our remainder portion. We want to get our remainder of any value, 12 modular by 6, we will get 0. Okay,
No, no. Let me tell you one thing. What exactly all of us are trying to tell you is that even though you mention was a variable name as Citanat equal to 12, okay, but
Yeah.
in the printf we have written Citanat in double quote, which with the interpreter understands this is a string.
Okay.
Is not a variable with having a value 12. It will identify as a string. Okay, and star 5 they don't understand is a multiplication, so he will interpret the, oh, I need to print this 5 times, so he will be printing 5 times. Even though similarly with the same name we have defined a variable Citanat with 12, but since it is in a double code, the interpreter understands this as a string. Okay, and it will behave like a string even though the same name has a variable name.
Okay.
Understood? Okay.
so if we remove the this double quotation, like we remove this double quotation, then it will understand that it is an integer. Okay, which is storing a 12. It is of integer data type. Okay, when we run
It
it,
is a variable storing in value 12. Yeah, then it
now
will
see,
come
60.
6. Correct?
Got it?
Are you got it?
Yes.
All of you? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. So fine.
Yes.
So we have a couple of minutes. So we'll share you one or two. Like what you can do is that you can practice this, 5, 7, and all the arithmetic operation and all these things. So by next Friday we'll come back and we will be talking about more about variables and other operations and all. All of it. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Oh, great. Okay. Now you see here, same thing we have been doing, right? That we want to display 5 plus 6. Okay, I'm using variable. See, if you write some background now. If you want to write this in a C program, okay, we have to mention the data type. See, I mentioned the data type as int. Understood? So if I remove this int, okay, and this is not a compiler. See, it doesn't say any error. Understood? Okay, so what I do, this is my compilation. Build and it will compile, and then it will going to run, and it will say, see this, it is said X was not declared in the scope, Y was not declared. Means they don't know what X6, what Y is. Understood? Okay, and it has been not shown me when I'm writing the program because it is a compiler. So when I will compile that, it will show me the error. See line 4 and all this thing. Suppose I make a mistake out here.
Yes.
Okay, so I don't put a semicolon also here. Okay, I will show you then. Then I will write. It will give me see another error. See, expected semicolon at this. So if I click here, means this is my error.
So this is a compiler.
This is a compiler. Understood?
Okay. Yes.
Right? Why it is an error giving here? X, this is the error giving here. Okay, so this is how the compiler is. So lines of code will come, it will give where exactly the errors are. Understood, right? And and see this another aspect is that in a C, in Python, you can just simply write x equal to 5y, and they will automatically take that, oh, this bit is a variable of data type 6. But in C, it cannot be. Okay, we have to mention the data type. So I will put here int. Okay, now I will compile it. Okay, my error will be here because I have not put a semicolon, so I will put a semicolon here. Okay, then I write, and then I will run and see I got the answer 11. Okay, but here also you see when I'm adding it, okay, I have to again explicitly tell what kind of data I want to use. This it defines the integer. If I write here f, okay, then it will show give me float. Right? It will give me float. Right, so it will giving me like this. So it will give me 1 minute, right? Right?
Yes.
Right, it will give me. But see, I have mentioned float here, but I'm using what addition of integer value. So it is giving 0.0. Understood? And another I will show if I write x divided by 5, okay, and you will be astonished to see. Right, if you write like this, it will give you 0. Okay. Yes, so that's what the C, because here explicitly you have to mention what exactly you are doing it, what you are printing it, whether it is an integer, whether it is a two variables, one is an integer, another is a float. If you are combining both, to again you have to make a combination of the other one. So it is very okay, right? So I hope you got a little bit of idea now. Okay. Yes, done. Okay. Yeah, so that's the beauty of the Python itself. See, technically I will tell you, you will learn later on because you are very young right now. The concept of programming language is divided into one is strongly typed, it is called, another is weakly typed. So when you have strongly typed, you have to mention what type of data is storing in a variable. And if it is a weakly type, you don't have to mention. It will automatically will take. Okay, like Python is one of the languages. Another language you can see, like I think Nunya PHP also does like the same thing, right? You can usually put a variable itself in there. But in C++, in Java and all, typically the compiler where you'll have to mention strongly what type of data you are storing in the variable. Okay. Yes. Right. So we'll give you such kind of differences in in C++ and Python and all, so that you get some idea what exactly the difference, what the why people are talking about Pythons and all these things and all. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So thank you so much to all of you. So you do some practices. Okay. And from the next Friday.
Thank you so much.
So we will. Yeah, please.
So we start getting assignments.
Sorry?
When we start getting assignments.
Assignments will give you from next week also, because today you just need to practice all these things.
Yes.
Whatever you have done, comments and all these things. Okay, right? Because we have not started any kind of programming right now. So when you move in the next week, you will start off addition, and we will do little bit of programming like summation of n numbers and all these things and all. Okay. So once we start with that, because we have to build your logic also. See, programming is one aspect, syntax, semantics, the advantage of how you are doing the things. Another is logic as return on servers thing. Right? You have to understand logic depends upon a lot of things. You have to be mathematically also strong on that particular aspect itself. Okay. So, and how to translate that into a particular, way of representing, like algorithm, flowchart, and all these things are there. Okay. So we will try to guide you all these things, and then from the next video, you will have, assignment for your upcoming,
Okay.
things and all. Correct? Yes.
Yes.
So this time, just you try to do little bit of practice of 7+6 and like that and all those things. Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Fine. Chetannath sir, want to say something more? Hello. Acha, he may have. Okay, Nunia, you want to add anything?
Yeah, thank you everyone. Thank you so much. Hello.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Fine.
And if
Thank you,
have
sir.
any
Thank you.
problem,
And in between,
Last बातों देखिए
Okay. if you have any kind of doubts and all this thing, you can put that in our WhatsApp group itself.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Fine.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much. So we'll again connect on next Friday, right? Okay. Great.
Yeah.
Same link will be there for all classes. Okay. We'll follow this link only. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you. Bye bye.